No, I was just can I just say that Bien is just a very interesting artist. That's all I'm going to say. He's just a very interesting artist, and I like following his career.
Binadamu napanga na Mungu na mashallah. It's actually so catchy.
Oh, who saw that coming, bro?
Real,
who saw? Did you see that? Who saw that coming? Because
nobody.
What's going on? What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Karibuni kwenye extravaganza. Karibuni kwenye hii mtandao tunayoita the 30% podcasty. I'm Sam. The co-host is Afa, and this is episode 127 of the 30% podcast. Afa.
I'm face palming right now, man. Like, what are we doing here, guys? I'm so sorry for Sam.
I meant that to be a bit more. My Swahili is not as good as I thought it was. You always find out that your Swahili is not as good as you think it is when you have to actually speak Swahili. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
Swahili is a very difficult thing. But anyways, as a podcast, of course, on here we talk about the Kenyan music industry. Actually, we talk about music industry, but then with a focus on the Kenyan music industry. We've recently figured out that we're just part of our goal is to like journal what's happening, because there's a lot of crazy things happening in select days. There's other things where really nothing is happening. But yeah, it's just a good journal to see, like to look back on and see, on the 15th of May, in the year of the 2025, this is what was happening. So yeah, that's why we're doing this thing. Partly why we're doing this thing. Also because we love Kenyan music. Don't you love Kenyan music, Afam?
I love Kenyan music. That's the main reason why we started this podcast, right?
Yep. What's going on in the +1?
+1, yeah. Nothing much. The weather in New York has improved significantly, so everyone is happy about that. Everyone is outside, everyone is jolly, and me personally, I've been working on a bunch of... I'm slowly getting back into like the groove of making music again, because I wasn't very creative like during the whole like project release and all that stuff. Yeah, so just making a few things here and there, you know. So I'm happy that I'm getting back into my creative groove. Aside from that, nothing too much to report on. I can't lie. My life is when I'm here, my life is very quiet and sedentary.
Oh no, that sounds so sad.
I have more exciting things to talk about when I'm back home. I can't lie. But yeah.
It's the nature of things, you know.
That's it for me.
It's the nature of things.
Yeah.
So
how about you, bro? What have you been up to?
So the weather is significantly improving. Here it's significantly deproving. I don't know. It's getting worse.
Deproving. it's deproving.
It's deproving. It's getting worse. It's just raining all the time. It's ridiculous. Which is not bad. It's just that I don't know, for some reason we've not figured out how to keep the lights on when it's raining. It's just, I guess it's just an African thing. Or maybe it's our local area. I have no idea. But yeah, that's that. I was talking with a friend yesterday, And he's an avid listener to the of the podcast. He's probably going to listen to it. Shout out to you.
Okay.
And he made
Shout
me
out to you.
Yeah, he made me. I can say his name. Shout out to him. He made me aware of the fact that sometimes I might have overshared a little bit on this podcast. And we were talking about something. We were just having a conversation. And then he brought up something that I might have said a while ago. And I was like, wait, did I actually say that? So now I'm really cautious as to the kind of information that I dispel about myself.
When you've overshared, I'm trying to think about when. I don't feel like you've overshared.
I feel like I've overshared. I feel like I've told everyone everything about my life. At some point I was talking about a fight I was having with some guys who had my laptop. The one he brought up was I think I talked about my landlord at some point. It's just like I'm like, oh man,
that's real, man.
No,
Sam, listen, I'm telling
cringe.
you, there's somebody listening to this podcast who like their highlight is the intro.
No one who identifies with the random things I say. There's no one who will identify with that.
That's no, actually, I wholeheartedly disagree with you there. Like, I don't believe that to be the case at all. I'm sure there's somebody who relates to you like to their core.
Maybe. Hey, if you relate to me, hey, let me know. Jump in my DMs. Let's talk about my fights with the computer garage. Yeah, but just been making music. been making music. Been making music. Making music. Working on some intellectual, educational stuff that I absolutely dislike. See, there I go sharing too much again. But then no, yeah.
That's not sharing too much,
it
bro.
Is,
what?
It is. Anyway, it's just that didn't do much this week. But
yeah,
I was outside. I went to First off, actually, let me begin. Does the name Peter Beard mean anything to you?
No.
No. Okay. Peter Beard. Let me start by his. Let me give the spoiler now. He's a bad guy in this story. But I was scrolling TikTok. I came across a post by a young lady called Gloria Nkata. She's the host, I guess, of the Talk Film to Me podcast, where she reviews and critiques films. And she was talking about a film that was premiering at Alliance Française. Is that how you say that? Alliance Française. And it's a film. It was the premise looked really interesting. Where it sold it as an IP battle, right? She sold it as part of the struggles that we go through as creatives in the intellectual property industry. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm not doing much. Let me just go and sit. So I went there, got there a little bit late, panicked because I didn't find seats, but then I found one eventually. And the film started. It's a film by Gloria is it's a film by a woman called Lucy Chodota. The film is called Every Picture Needs a Frame. It's a really, really, really interesting story, I think. So Peter Beard, why I asked you if the name Peter Beard means anything to you is he was an artist a couple of years ago, maybe 10, 20 years ago. He was an artist and he has had like some of his art published and sold for like high amounts, in the States. Yes. So now his art. So he's a photographer, right? So he takes photos and then sells them. But then his mode of art now is he had an art, I guess you'd call it an art studio here called the Hog Ranch, HOG Ranch. And what he did here, he employed a bunch of Kenyan artists to sort of add to the art. Now, if you look at his art pieces, it's like a photo in the center, right? It's a photo in the center. And then around it now, there's like doodles, there's dots everywhere, there's like little tribal, there's elephants, there's whatever. So he got a bunch of artists to work with him. And so that enhanced his picture, and it enhanced his product, the art he was selling. So then he now takes them over there to the West, and then he sells them. So the story is about eight of the artists who were at the Hog Ranch, and sort of what they went through being there. Right. So it was very eye opening. It was very heartbreaking. Essentially, what happened is you know where the story is going. It's a story of pay, right? So he was paying them almost like work for hire, paying them.
Yeah.
I think at one point, the highest amount I heard was someone's getting paid like $40K a month, right? A couple of years ago, maybe 10, 20 years ago, 10, 15, because they were getting $40K a month. Yeah. So, but those photos were selling for upwards of $100,000, $200,000, right? And they're not getting any kickbacks for that.
Damn.
So yeah, it's a story of just kind of what they were going through, the struggles that they were having, and even at some point, like one of the guys was talking about how he found out how much the painting he worked on, or the art piece rather he worked on, sold for $680,000. And he didn't receive a single cent from it. And now the main problem that rose up was what he did was not extra special, right? He's a photographer, and sometimes they even say that he took photos from like he had done a long time ago. So they were not like new photos. But what made those photos valuable were the new artists on there, the doodles and everything. And it's a very unique, very distinct style. So
they added value to the original work.
Yeah, the added value. And so that's the gist of the film, and just kind of how they've gone through it, the battles that they've been going through, and eventually just getting their art recognized in Sotheby's, I guess. And he credited them, but then didn't pay them for it. So it was very heartbreaking, honestly. It was very heartbreaking. So there's themes there of, I don't know how we would approach this, but then of course there's the regular theme of just not valuing art and paying artists. But then there's also themes of just how African art is treated in the West. And that's how, not how African, it's a very touchy subject, but then just how generally Africa is treated in terms of creativity. And so those are some of the things that just were running through my mind. But yeah, that was an interesting outing.
Yeah. So, for me, what I get from that is, so did they talk about like whether they knew that they were being paid as work for hire, or like what was the situation? What was the arrangement?
Yeah, the contract that they set up in the beginning. Of course, these are people with limited information to the intellectual property world. So
okay, so that's the main thing. Because what I'm hearing, and not to be devil's advocate, is that legally it would be hard for them to claim ownership of the works because they were paid as work for hire, right?
Yeah. Well,
so I think then
yes and no. Yes and no.
Why?
There was an IP lawyer, I forget his name, but there was an IP lawyer up there, and he was talking about laws in which you're entitled to royalties for your art. Like that should be the default agreement in terms of the publishing. Now, of course, they didn't. It's ignorance,
or is should be or is.
It's. I think he said it's a law that's actually in place. But then it's a local law here. So what happens when you sell the art? When you sell the art pieces out west, So it's a bit.
So for me, what I'm hearing is I think there needs to be more information like behind IP laws. I think people need to be more like I feel like there has been like people aren't like availed this information as much as they should. I feel like it's kind of like kept away from people essentially
on purpose, right? Too, which is where
on purpose,
like a moral
and people
problem.
take advantage. Exactly. So morally, what he did is super wrong because he's taking advantage of your lack of information, paying you, and then maybe contractually like it's work for hire. But then obviously he can benefit in the back end when he sells it for 10 times or even 20 times or 30 times or 100 times more than he paid you. So morally, like, disgusting, deplorable, like, behavior from this guy. But I think for me, it's like, then if we're bringing it back to music, we need to be informed about some of these things, like work for hire, and being able to, like, are you signing songwriter split sheets and controlling ownership of your compositions and stuff like that, so that you can also benefit from the back end. I think the thing is, people don't know that music is divided into two, for example, and that you can make master royalties as well as songwriting and publishing royalties. Like, I think the problem is people just don't know these things, and then therefore, if you don't know, then you can just get, like, taken advantage of, which is very unfortunate for those artists in question. Because you're right. I think the world does this all the time, where they take from African artists, and they'll pay you in the moment, and you'll think, okay, that's cool, but then obviously they'll repurpose your work or whatever, and then benefit way more and not include you. And that's horrible, man.
Do you think? Question: do you think it's on the like? Okay, like if we're using the example of the film, do you think it's on Peter to tell them, or do you think he gets a pass, just earning whatever he needs to earn from it, and not necessarily paying them?
As a good person, he should tell them, this is how it's gonna shake down, and this is what I plan to do. But you see, the thing about life is, people are not good people. People are selfish and are going to want to, like, benefit as much as they can for themselves and not include you. I think, and this might be a bit harsh, in 2025. So this happened a bunch of years ago.
Oh, no, yeah, this happened.
That's fine. I'm saying in 2025, I think also the onus needs to come on us, where we also need to be knowledgeable about some of these things. And I think the reason being is because we have access via the internet to a lot of this information. If you know where to look, like, you can find a lot of information that can help protect you from some of these things happening, because these things happen to people all the time, and it's so sad. So I think you can't absolve, like, in 2025, if something like this happens, you can't absolve yourself 100%. But obviously, also, people need to be good, and they also need to not take advantage of people. Does my point make? I feel like, that for me, that's just my stance on it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's true.
I think it's horrible to take advantage of people.
Yeah. It's true. It's up to, as technology has become more easier to access, it's very useful to just know what you're dealing with, and double check and triple check in terms of contracts and things that have to do with art. It's difficult.
That being said though, so I was just going to say, that being said, though, I know there is, like, a concerted effort to keep information, or there has been in history, to keep information away from, like, especially, like, Africans, from them, like, from us knowing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a concerted effort to do that to us. And that's also really, really horrible, if we're being honest.
It is. It's just very disappointing. I think it's very disappointing that, like, I was seated there, and of course there's murmurs, there's the themes of when it was the Q&A section, there's themes of people really didn't want to say it, but then there's themes of, like, just why do we keep getting taken advantage of, sort of, and it's like the norm. So yeah, it's a good film.
Norm.
Yeah, every picture needs a frame. It's a good film by Lucy Chodota, very eye-opening, very inspiring. I think. You might get angry. I got angry. I was sitting there fuming. I'm like, well, how could this happen? How could this happen to this man, this artist who gave a lot of their time to someone, and he didn't treat them as we would expect. But anyway, it's cool. It's cool. You should check it out. I don't know whether it's going to be shown anywhere though. I hope it will be. You should check it out. It's cool.
I mean, I'll look around for where I can watch it.
If I find the link, I'll send it to you.
But yeah, man, we were talking before the podcast about like just like subtle ways in which the West usually tries to kind of malign the content of Africa.
Yeah.
And this conversation becomes like very deep when you start talking about like the economic ways and the political ways in which as a continent we have been finessed, but just like looking into like small things, like we talked last week or the other week about how Burna Boy mentioned like African art
streams
doesn't get or African streams like are valued way less. There's even small things, man. There's been some conversation about like how in movies, like they use specific filters for specific places, like how like if you know, like
Mexico
how like
has that sepia,
Mexico,
sepia
the yellow one, like the yellow, or like if it's India, like it's something similar, or if it's Africa, it's something similar as well. Bro, I think the West genuinely like does these small things, which like if you don't pay attention, you might just
there's a big accusation you're making, actually. It's a huge
but these things happen, and so even recently, and I know this is a music industry, but like recently some girl was saying how she's noticed like you can always tell on social media when a video has been made by an African content creator, because there's just a certain way the light looks like in that video, and you'll know that this was filmed in Africa as opposed to like in America or the UK, for example, and it raises huge questions, because like both videos would be filmed, say, on the same iPhone, like an iPhone 15, for example, right? But they look very different when put on social media. And why is the question? I think there's a conspiracy theory to slightly degrade the quality of which we consume like African content, so that you know it's from Africa, like so that there is like there's a subtle way in which we start to perceive Western content as better than ours. I genuinely, Sam, think that there is a conspiracy to do this. Even in my own even in my own experience, like using TikTok, like when I'm in America, as I am now, like my For You page looks significantly clearer than when I use it when I'm back home. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's like when I use my For You page here, it's like in 1080p. But when I'm using it back home, the same videos I'm seeing like on my For You page are like in 720p. So like the change is slight. I know. And you know the thing is, they make such small like adjustments so that it feels like you're being gaslit. Like, am I actually looking too deep into this, or is there something happening? Oh no, man. I think we are being. I think there's something happening.
I haven't seen it, but if that's true, that's really weird. Like, why would you do that? Like, what about? The question now becomes: what about African art isn't as valuable? Or rather,
why don't
they want it to be seen as equally valuable as?
Now that's the question, Sam.
Yeah.
Because even if you're talking about politics or just like the value that Africa brings to the table in terms of like the resources and like the richness in which we have like minerals and like all that stuff.
Vibranium.
Like Africa, so to speak. But if you start anyway, let's not become a political podcast.
No, let's.
But
let's.
There are a bunch of like I feel like the rest of the world is intimidated by the amount of resources our continent can generate or has, and and there's a concerted effort to just keep us there, like keep us down where like we are, like we are obviously better than you know what I mean, and there's a status quo that needs to be upheld, and they'll never want things like, I think they always want the order to remain the same. So I don't know, it's up to us to kind of figure out ways to break the matrix.
I don't know if it's, well, I wouldn't say better, because I think that everyone has they bring something to the table, obviously. I just think that we do have some really important things we bring to the table, and there's an aspect of control there. To the ones without the access to those, like we're talking about the minerals and everything, they want to control, that, and so then that goes back to everything that happened back then. But then that takes it like down a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we do see it though. We do see it a little bit.
Yeah,
But it is a conspiracy, and we're getting we're getting into our tinfoil hat.
Our tinfoil hats are on.
Yeah, and you take those off.
They're on.
take those.
Oh, we're not taking
off.
them off.
Oh yeah, all right. You can keep yours on. I'm taking mine off.
I'm keeping mine on. Okay, Sam, I wanted to talk about, well, this is a hard shift to a different topic, but did you see the teaser for Bien's upcoming song? Stop laughing. No, it's not funny. It's actually really catchy, man. It's actually really catchy. The reason
No, I was just, can I just say that Bien is just a very interesting artist. That's all I'm going to say. He's just a very interesting artist, and I like following his career.
Binadamu napanga na Mungu na mashallah. It's actually so catchy.
Oh, who saw that coming, bro?
Real,
did you see that? Who saw that coming? Because
nobody.
Bien he's proving to be a really interesting, just in terms of what he's doing. I feel like
very unpredictable.
He's just doing things. He's not following the blueprint as you would think he would, as an artist trying to, break out and become like a global star. It's so interesting. Like, this was completely left. Like, I didn't see this coming at all. But it's a vibe, though. It's a vibe.
It is a vibe, and I guess sorry, I don't think I've broken the news. Well, it's not really breaking the news, but I haven't like said it properly. So essentially, Bien is releasing a song, and it's off of his new album, and it's featuring an artist by the name Sultan Sirar, and yeah. So is the album going to be called Safari, or is this single called Safari?
So what I'm seeing here, I don't know whether the album and the single.
I think the single is called Safari.
Yeah, the single is definitely called Safari.
The single is called Safari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know what the album is.
I don't think we know what the... But you see, the thing is, because he says, first song on the album Safari, featuring my brother Sultan Sirar. So it's a bit in the air of whether the name of the album is Safari or the name of the single is Safari.
Or both of them.
The way he worded it is a bit confusing. Either way, it's so left because one, a lot of Kenyans will not have known about Sultan Sirar.
Yeah,
two,
it's a whole new...
it's just so outside of like what we would expect Bien to do. And that's what makes it exciting. So Sam, the question is, why would Bien do this as why would he make this move essentially?
Yeah, the only thing I think I can think of is just new fans. Is getting a wider... It looks like
Sultan...
Yeah.
I'm saying it looks like Sultan is from Somalia, but also looks like he has ties to the UK in some capacity, right?
Could be. It could be. I'm not sure. I'm not essentially sure of his ties, but that could be true. This could be looked at as smart move. I know a lot of people are going to like hate because when you become a star, they want you to do music in the way they want you to do music. But this could be seen as a really smart stuff. Sorry, a really smart move.
I think it's smart.
Yeah.
I think it's smart as well because so I just did a little bit of digging on Sultan, and his numbers are good, man. He has a lot of engagement from the people who consume his music.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing some of the videos. It seems like he's always out there in the UK promoting shows. I've seen even Chunks. Like he'd done a video with Chunks, like promoting a show that he was doing back in the day. Like, so that's a big look. And that's a whole, what I'm seeing, Sam, it's a whole world. And that's why they usually classify, have you noticed like in IFPI, they classify Africa as two, Sub-Saharan Africa and Middle East and North Africa. Because those markets are very different. And so this is like a collision, sorry. I was going to say colliding, but it's like a collision of like worlds. You know what I mean? That MENA and Sub-Saharan sound colliding. And bro, it's a whole different market.
It
like
is.
These guys consume a lot of music. It's just not music that we would say we listen to like on the mainstream.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at his numbers like on YouTube, bro. 7.2 million, 6.6 million views on videos, 3 million, 2 million. Bro, he's out here. Like there's people listening voraciously to this music. And so I think this is a very smart move. Like, I know there's a lot of jokes like on NGC. People are like, oh, this, like people in Isili will be listening to this heavy. Like you have to wear a kanzu to listen to this music, blah, blah, blah. But
I didn't know we're supposed to laugh at that. Is it okay to laugh at those? Those jokes are crazy. It's okay to laugh at that.
Outside of the jokes. Outside of the jokes. No, it's okay to laugh at them because it's like, I don't think it's meant like to be harmful. But I think it's a dope move. And I think BN is doing the Drake tactic, Sam. You know the Drake tactic?
Oh, the Drake tactic. Just who is hot right now? Yeah. Let's just hop on there and
yes, sir.
Collaborate in quotes. This is, I mean, so his previous album was heavily like Nigerian in terms of marketing and everything. And now I'm curious to see what direction he takes this one in. So from the single, of course, we're already seeing like the music is slightly different from that.
Elements.
Yeah, it's piano elements, but then in terms of like the quantity, the quantity of the music is kind of different. So, I don't know, I'm hyped. I want to.
And also Sam, to lead with this as a single, though, this is the first thing that we are going to consume from the album.
Yeah.
That's a bold move in and of itself.
And it's smart too, right? Because it's going to generate talk. It is definitely going to create a little bit of a buzz as to why is he going in this direction. And as a musician, all types of, I'm going to say all, but then a lot of the PR you get before you release your album, if it's conversation and it's not negatively affecting your character, it's good. So, yeah, this is...
I think it's a move... that's heavily informed by analytics. And I think they've done the research.
It could be.
I think he's trying to... they're taking an approach where it's like, we're going to spread the narrative of BN slowly. We're going to start with like East Africa, right?
Yeah.
And get even into like the like Somalia, Sudan, like what are they listening to over there? Let's even start to penetrate those markets as well. Yeah, let's throw BN in there. You know what I mean? Because he has tested and tried, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had some Nigerian artists on this or some, and obviously the South African influence with the amapianos and stuff like that. So I think this is like maybe step 2. Maybe step 1 was like doing stuff with Kina Ira. But even like, isn't there like a dance song he released recently? Like he was featured on.
I might have missed
recently. Anyway. No, you didn't miss it. We talked about it, but
did we?
It wasn't like a...
no, I know what you're talking about. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the
you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, All I Need with Ramo.
There's a concerted effort to place BN in a more international
It's cool.
conversation.
He's
and
showing,
I fuck with it.
yeah, he's showing like some of the elements that make a good artist, which are, just increasing your
sure.
reach and then not being afraid to do different things. At
Anyway,
at his stage he could You're just waiting to say that.
sorry,
I know. You were just you were just waiting to throw an inshallah in there.
This is gonna be no. I'm just quoting the song, bro. Inshallah, this is gonna be like a really good.
Just
release.
waiting for it. Nah, it's a vibe, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to Sultan. I'm trying to figure out what BN is going to sound like on this. I guess we'll have to wait for the release, but then.
And it's so interesting to not even include a snippet of BN.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
Snippet.
I'm telling you, that's on
You know
purpose.
what I mean?
That's on purpose because now everyone wants to hear what BN is going to do on this kind of track. Like, it's a smart move.
BN is
It's a smart move.
He's such a troll. But one thing about BN is he's really good at social media marketing. He really knows how to market himself well because he knows the things to do to make people either laugh or very curious about like what's happening next.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
We'll see.
Shout out to BN.
Shout out to him.
Safari.
Excited to see what that sounds like.
I was gonna say, speaking of BN, there was a list that was released about the most watched artists on YouTube.
Yay.
Yeah, another list. Yeah. Most watched artists on YouTube in Kenya in April 2025. I just want to get like a brief, this is just quick thought from you. Like they released the list and BN is the first Kenyan on there, but at number 7, which is worrying because number one to 6 is dominated by Tanzanians aside from Vibes Cartel.
Do you think it's bots?
After
do you
that,
think it's bots? That's such an interesting stat. How is 1 to 6
I don't
a whole
know.
other country?
Maybe Kenyans do be listening to Tanzanian music a lot. I actually do think so. I actually do think it's the case.
Who and where?
I don't know, but I feel like there are people who listen to Harmonize. Harmonize is number 1. Diamond Platinums is number 2. Mario is number 3. Vibes Cartel is number 4, obviously. And then after that, number 5 is Zuchu, and number 6 is Rayvanny. So, bro, I'm telling you, TZ music is heavily consumed here. So I wouldn't be surprised as well if BN does something with a Tanzanian artist on his project as well. Or does something that panders to that sound. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff on the wall here. Number 8 was Willie Paul. And then the other person who featured in the top 20 was Toxic Lyrically. Confirmation. Was there another Kenyan in the top... Is there another Kenyan in the top 20? Let me see. No, that's it, imagine. It's BN, Toxic Lyrically, and Willie Paul. That's kind of sad.
What's happening to our mainstream music? Why is it not making it up there? Like some of the songs and groups and like Watanda Willie and them. And they're not making it up there in terms of this list.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a video list too,
I think exactly, and the primary way Kenyans listen to music is YouTube, right? So, not primary, because obviously number 1 would be radio still, but YouTube is up there. YouTube is definitely above streaming. So
yeah.
A lot of questions to be had.
A lot and answers that we definitely need. Like, how I feel like there almost needs to be a concerted effort now to to have some of our songs some of our artists chart higher on the video list, because it doesn't make much sense.
Does this mean
it does?
But so if you're if you're in the game right now, do you try and make more TZ leaning music like Willie Paul would do, for example? Or because that's clearly what's been consumed mostly on YouTube.
So there's 2 ways you could go. There's 2 ways you could go. Like you could either try and make more Tanzanian music, which will appeal to the crowd that's already there, or you could just make better videos, which is a thing.
Or make better videos as well.
Yeah, I feel like we're ignoring that aspect of things. Maybe it's just that we're not investing as much into our videos in terms of marketing them and pushing them and everything. And so we're just lagging behind. But also the video, there's this whole thing in the industry where they're saying that the video is dead, and I don't know.
That's cap.
Yeah,
the music video is not dead. That's cap, man. Music videos and visuals are very clutch still.
I feel like I do feel like I would personally lean more on the side of try and work on our visual identity and just working on our video qualities and creating interesting, engaging storytelling, high production quality music videos. I think if the songs
Yes, sir.
behind that are really good, I think we shoot up that list easily. Because I mean, it's Kenyan people. Kenyan people who want to consume Kenyan music. At least that's the thought, right? Don't know how true that is, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
man. Yeah, that's
Okay,
hopefully.
Sam, I have one more quick thoughts that I need
Shoot.
to get from you. Just one more, man.
Shoot.
Give me 2 Kenyan artists who have mad chemistry between them. Their collabs can't miss.
Iwa Tajiri and the other. Watandawili.
Oh my God, Israel, bro, that's such a cop out of an answer. I'm so
BB.
pissed right now. I'm so pissed right
half
now.
of
So
Saudi
that's
Soul.
what you were gonna do. No.
Half of
They
Saudi
have to
Soul. Two members
no,
of
no, no, no,
Watata.
no. Watandawili. No. I've refused your answer. Watandawili. No. It has to be 2 people from different.
No,
like,
you can't
groups.
do that. You can't throw me on the
can't-
spot
no,
and then
you-
create rules on the fly.
Let me give you mine. Let me give you mine. And mine is obvious because like it's like along my line. Ukweli and Zinia. Whenever Ukweli and Zinia like combine, like
Yeah.
bro, those guys have mad chemistry.
No, that's
like
fact.
it's insane.
That's a fact. Are we throwing producers in there, or are we just talking about artists? No, Kweli is a producer.
No, unless no, he is, but he also presents as an artist because like if you look at his Spotify and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
he's like a producer artist, like Metro Boomin. So it can't just be like a producer who's just always behind the scenes. They have to be like producer artist. You feel what you get what I mean? Yeah.
Oh man,
I
should have
Kazi Kwako.
I should have it off the top of my head, but it's always when you put on the spot that your brain goes blank. That's just the nature of the world. Let me think.
I can also.
Oh, I'm going
read.
to. I mean,
Okay,
I'm going to go to an easy one. What's his name? Saru and Furthermore.
Okay, Sarah and Furthermore always release bangers. Although I feel like they've never really reached the heights of Kaskia Vibaya, but
Yes.
yeah,
Well,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
let me see.
Okay,
Now, this is
so
interesting, actually.
I'm looking at the list. Oh, not the list, but the comments. Because this was actually a post that was put on. Well, it was actually a post that was on Twitter, but they repurposed it for Nairobi Gossip Club. People said Meja and his Tumblr. That's a good one. That's funny. Mandy and Breeder was a big one that people kept saying. Bien and Bensol.
Really, Bien and Bensoul.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll put that
There's a
one
lot of
as
likes
high.
behind that one.
Okay.
You didn't. Why?
Okay. I don't.
Oh yeah, you never really liked Extra Pressure. You never liked that song.
Well, I'm negatively biased towards that song, but I'm trying to think about the other ones, like outside of Extra Pressure. Like, is there?
There's nothing that stands out to you.
Yeah, there's nothing that really stands out like that to me, at least. Maybe I could get hate for that, but then okay. But anyways, what are the others on the list?
Calligraph and Yashinsky. A lot of people say that as well.
I wouldn't put that one so up there like that, but they do make some notable music together, so I understand why it's up there.
Let me see. Oh, Keithan and Kinoti. Keithan and Kinoti is a shout.
How much music do they have together?
Okay, not much, but they whenever they like do shows and stuff together,
Okay.
it's great.
Oh, so we're talking. All right. So we're talking about the brother. I would say I would before you continue, I would put Nyashinsky and Sedo up there. Like that's a generational collab. That one has been has been around for a long time.
That's fair. Would I do anything else? No, I'm happy with that.
What about the more niche side of the industry, like the trappers?
I mean, well, this is a niche, but people said YBW Smith and was it Godi Tanner or no? They said YBW Smith and Sosa the Prodigy. In terms of the trappers, who would I say collabs? You like when you hear Boutros and Jovi Jove together because they're both like the godfathers of Shrap.
Yeah.
So those guys are always clutched together. Who else? Who else would I say? In the trap world.
What's his name? Swahili Papi and Ekumbo. That would be one. Those two always.
Yeah, Swahili Papi and Nekumbo. Yeah, those go well together, or both of them go well together. Yeah, I guess that's what
That's
I'd
interesting.
say.
I'll think of some more. I'll think of some more because this is a very interesting prompt. If I find any really good ones, I'll
Me
come
and
back with them.
procrastination. Anyway,
Why do you have to be this way? Like, why are you the way you are?
you can't even hate. You can't even hate, man. I just did some.
Why
That's on
are
me.
you the way
Anyway,
you are? Oh, that's interesting.
yeah. Do you wanna talk about new music? Because I don't see anything else that was
nothing
really
else.
out there in the news.
Nothing else that's glaring. Yeah, we could do new music. Let's jump into
what did you listen to, man?
music. New music. I started at Weko with the Chungula family because it was at the top of the list. Oh man, and yeah, it's what you expect from them, I guess. They have like a specific style of music at this point.
A beat. Sorry.
Of course, that's what stood out to you, right? That's really what stood out to
No,
you.
Benzema's lines are just very. But you see, that's what you go to listen to Ochungolo family. You know what I mean? That like I wanna hear the dumb like bars, like like that's why I'm here. So they always deliver.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Who else dropped? Trio Mio with Vilena Like. I feel like that's not how you spell that, but Vilena Like. That was cool. Flyer also dropped Siwezi Kukuweka. I listened to Sanai Petande because Sanai Petande she's like one of, I guess, the legends. You could say that, right? And she released a project called 40 and Fortune. Oh, bro, I'm just getting it now. Oh man. So Fortune. There's 4 songs on the project. Oh, bro, there's a lot going on with 4s.
Now is when you're getting it.
No, I don't say that like you knew that was what was happening. Just don't do that. Don't put me on the spot.
Knew it the first time I read it.
The first time I read it. Right, yeah. So she dropped a 4-track project. Interesting. I mean, to be honest with you, I've not really. I feel like she's maybe done a few collaborations recently, but then I've not really tuned into her music by herself. So this was like a good, I guess, reintroduction. It was interesting. Looking to see how she, if this is like a long-term thing, if she's planning on releasing more music. It'll be just interesting to see that. And yeah, I might give that more of a listen. Table by Clark King, Zawadi Mukami, and Chris Barr. Chris Barr is an artist who I champion almost every single time he drops. So shout out to them. What else? What else did I listen to? Fadeli teamed up with El Mukuka. I don't know how to spell that. El Mukuka for Mankind. K-Rop and Nyabuto. Nyabuto is another artist who I really just want to flourish. I want him to do well. They dropped a song called 70. What did you listen to?
So I listened to Body by X-Ray and Boutros, Black Market Records. I also listened to Mandela by Loki the Great. Really liked the beat. I think I like everything that's just Alte vibes. So shout out to Loki the Great. Listened to I want to say Sumbua by Ali Fresh, DJ Mura, and Tina Ardor. Bro, these guys are releasing music like at a high clip, man. And I'm really, really loving this like Afro house like bops that are coming out, man. Yeah, man. So Unt's season is upon us. I listened to Yamwisho by Meja, which is so timely. if y'all are tapped into the news about Kibanja and you care about that
No,
stuff,
we're not doing that. We're not doing that here. This is not that kind of podcast.
Well, that song is very it makes
What's
a
the
lot
song
of
about?
sense.
Because I haven't heard the song. I don't know. I haven't, and I have not followed the
song
news.
Is essentially
And I will not be following the news.
The song is about how Meja has like a wife or a girlfriend, and he gets caught cheating, but then he tells the girl or his girl, like, that's the last one, ya mwisho. But then actually after that he keeps on cheating.
That's such a major song concept.
It's so messed up. So him and his friend, they drive down to this other girl's house, and then the guy is like, yo, but I thought you said the other one was ya mwisho. No, but this is ya mwisho.
That's
and then,
so major.
That's it. It's such a simple concept.
And he does that really well
relatable.
too. Yeah, he does that really well. He's been doing that since
Nairobi.
Yeah, he's been doing that since he entered, like years and years ago. Like he just creates stories that are relatable to the common Mwananchi. But shout out to him, I guess.
Yeah,
that's his thing.
That's hey, listen, and shout out to Kibanja. I hope she recovers from this very trying time.
What?
I'm just being supportive to Kibanja, like in her trying moment. Then
so terrible.
Okay, but lastly, I think the song that I want to put on, and shout out to this guy who I'm about to mention, because he's been releasing music a lot, and I know he's more mainstream now, but he's working hard. And the person I want to say is Lil Maina. Yeah, bro, he released a song called Like That. Also released the video, produced by Air 66. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's more of that urban tone. Like, I believe that's a sample, and it's at the back of my head. I feel like it's a sample and I should know what it is, but I just can't like figure it out. But I like it. The video was shot by his mom, apparently, so more lore for the song.
More lore.
It's more lore, bro. But anyway, yeah. I think that's the song I'd love to play for the end of the podcast. So Sam, I was gonna say if you would allow me, but I'm gonna do this without your permission. Yeah, there, I did it, man.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. You guys are about to listen to the song Like That by Lil Maina.
Twende like this, venye unazungusha singumu jo kuresist. Utafanya nichekeshe chele, shika the pin. Unataka kuona nani, kwani weni wa jamii. Twende like that, twende like this, venye unazungusha singumu jo kuresist. Utafanya nichekeshe chele, shika the pin. Unataka kuona nani, kwani weni wa jamii. Ai, fine mama, huni nani, who's the new chick? Unacheka na kijana, chukua boutique. My Jaber, sura nzuri uko unique. Una mastoria na ngori utaniudhi. Nimekusoma baby gani kona blueprint. Shika simu swali na kuja ti who's this? True thing baby girl, see to do this. Sare za wajinga niko hapa, kasi twende like that, twende like this, venye unazungusha singumu jo kuresist. Utafanya nichekeshe chele, shika the pin. Unataka kuona nani, kwani weni wa jamii. Twende like that, twende like this, venye unazungusha singumu jo kuresist. Utafanya nichekeshe chele, shika the pin. Unataka kuona nani, kwani weni wa jamii. Ai, ameni nice ezi yamini. Nadhania ametumwa, she is all over me. Tafakari zangu misi yamini. Juu kidogo nfunge ndoa, mimi hapa stoki. Na basi unachotaka si unajua utakipata. Bahati yako umepatana na stana, na ya baadaye labda tu ni lawama. Nishaanza kuwaza toka usiku na mchana. Nataka nikushike kama fande. Stana, mimi na wewe na mimi tupatane like that, twende like this, venye unazungusha singumu jo kuresist. Utafanya nichekeshe chele, shika the pin. Unataka kuona nani, kwani weni ni jamii. Twende like that, twende like this, venye unazungusha singumu jo kuresist. Utafanya nichekeshe chele, shika the pin. Unataka kuona nani, kwani weni wa jamii. Twende like that, twende twende like this. Venye unazungusha singumu jo kuresist. Utafanya nichekeshe chele shika the pin. Unataka kuona nani kwani weni wa jamii. Twende like that, twende like this. Venye unazungusha singumu jo kuresist. Utafanya nichekeshe chele shika the pin. Unataka kuona nani kwani weni wa jamii. Ai.
That was Like That by Lil Maina, man. Shout out to him, bro. Still releasing, still really flying the urban tone. Although I don't know if he views himself as an urban tone artist. Either way, shout out to him.
Shout out
because I feel
Lil
like
Maina.
he's been a big proponent of bringing back that sound. Sam, man, episode 127, down the drain, bro. As always,
down the drain has a negative connotation to it.
Okay, fine. Episode 127 propped on a magnificent pedestal.
Exactly.
Because what an episode. And I'd like to say thank you to you guys, as always, for listening to the podcast and supporting us. Want to tell you guys to keep on listening to Kenyan music, man.
Facts.
Because Kenyan music is the future. If you're new to this podcast, I usually like to end the pod with the 3 C's, which is kind of like my mantra, a daily mantra of sorts. And what are they, you ask? Well, number 1, confidence. You need to be very, very confident in your art, because that's what's going to convince people to even want to pay attention to you in a time when there's so many people vying for attention. Number 2, be consistent. Consistency is key. They weren't lying when they made that saying. Essentially, I need you to be consistent in how you create and also how you release said creations. Like I said, there's so many people out here. This environment we exist in is so saturated. But you need to stand out in some way. And the people who are consistent are the ones who end up standing out at the end of the day. And lastly, I need you guys to work on your craft every day. If you can only spare 5 minutes, then that's what you should do. Spare 5 minutes to improving your craft in some way, shape, or form. Practice or read something new about your area of expertise and just try and further yourself. These 3 C's are things that I am working on myself. I'm not perfect. I need to be better as a human being. So these are things that I am doing for myself, and I just like to share because hopefully you guys also can implement them. Yes, sir, man. Sam?
I don't know, just going off the whole conversation about the film, I feel like as a contractor, if you're you know what? If you're a contractor or a contractee, just try and do good. Like, just try and appreciate the input of everyone who works on your art with you. I just feel like it pushes the music industry forward. And it benefits you as a creator too. I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. I don't want it to sound preachy, but then it's just try. There's no way I can talk about this without it sounding preachy. But yeah, just try and do well and just afford everyone the opportunity to earn from their art rightly and justly.
Just be good, guys. Just be good.
Be good.
Sam, last thing I want to ask you is, why were all the numbers in the party complimenting the number 120 for its amazing outfit?
Yo. Afam, why do we do this? We need to have
I'm just asking you a question. I'm asking you.
We need to have a meeting.
Sam, I have asked you a question.
No,
and I would expect an answer.
I'm not giving you an answer to that question. We need to have a meeting.
The answer to that question is because 128.
Yeah, of course. Yo, thank you for listening to us. Sorry, I apologize on Afam's behalf. Look, he's obviously enjoying this. No. He loves this. He's having a ball over there. Oh, man.
I live for this, man. Anyway, 128
is
when we will see you guys.
That was very painful.
We're out.